Welcome in to the 48 Minutes podcast on Believe. I'm Ross Geiger, the former NBA video coordinator, and I'm joined alongside Bruce Bernstein, our four-time Emmy Award winner who spent more than 3 decades at ESPN producing NBA shows, SportsCenter, and soaking up knowledge from the best hoop analysts in the business. Also joining us is the 2-time Emmy Award winner, Michael Worldby Freer, who's a senior writer at StatFactor, specializing in writing advanced statistical NBA reports for various announcers across the league. This is episode number 174, the Ray Scott episode, as Coach Scott took home the league's Coach of the Year honors in 1974 as the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. With the regular season set to begin on October 21st, we continue our series of 2-a-day shows. They'll be shorter, and we'll release 3 new shows each week leading up to opening night. Each show will feature 1 team from the East and 1 team from the West. Please note, we'll be going alphabetically, so no need to read into any type of order. So let's keep things rolling with the Boston Celtics from the East and the Denver Nuggets from the West. Bruce, I'll let you start us off with your Boston Celtics.
If Jaylen Brown ever hopes to quiet his critics, this is the season he can do it. As the undisputed top dog on a team where Jayson Tatum would normally be considered the alpha, JB has a chance to show he can put up numbers and carry his team through adversity. He will have some help. Derek White's still there. Peyton Pritchard, 6th Man of the Year. Anthony Simons over from Portland. And Chris Boucher, who comes over after a number of years in Toronto. But all eyes are going to be on Brown, and Celtics fans are either going to blame him or praise him, depending on how this season goes.
They certainly will. All eyes will be on Jaylen Brown as the star of the show in Boston next year. Worldby, what are you anticipating with this new look Celtics squad?
It's definitely going to be a different look than we're used to seeing in terms of talent on the floor. Without Tatum around, without Al Horford around, without Kristaps Porzingis around, it's going to be very guard heavy, very backcourt heavy. Last year they had the highest rate of shots from the field that were 3-pointers in NBA history, about 54%. That could go up this year because there's just nothing in the middle. I think what this season is going to do, one way or the other, I think they're going to struggle this season. There's just not enough overall talent to get them. They do have talented pieces. I just don't think they have enough. And I think you're going to find out just how good of a player Jayson Tatum is, not just as a scorer, but you're going to see who's going to create the shots for this team. He did an excellent job last season, not only creating his own shot, but drawing attention and being able to deliver the ball to someone else. 6 assists last year, and he averaged about 20 shots a game. He was the only non-guard in the league to do that last season. So, I mean, there's something to be said for what kind of player he is, not just as a scorer. We know his scoring ability, but his ability to be a creator and distributor of the ball. And who's going to take up that mantle now? Drew Holiday is gone. Tatum is gone. Porzingis. There's just not a lot. Derek White's back. And that's great. There's just not a whole lot of other talent, I think, overall to get them into the playoff field.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. But, glass half full for Bruce here. I think this could be a fun year because head coach Joe Mazzulla might be a mad scientist. And I say that because this should be a year of experiments. Can Peyton Pritchard be a starting caliber point guard? Can Derek White increase his scoring average for the 5th straight season in Boston? Is Jaylen Brown a potential number 1 option in the future? Are Chris Boucher and Neemias Queta both bigs that just needed more ample opportunities to play? Is Jordan Walsh a serviceable NBA player? And will the Celtics come to love Anthony Simons? That still seems to be up in the air as well. But after 82 regular season games this next year for the Boston Celtics, we should have all the answers to those questions. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, how some of those come to fruition, because I think it could be a lot of fun next year. As you said, they could shoot even more threes next year, especially with Simons aboard and nobody in the middle. So it could be a lot of run and gun 3-point shooting, and they're probably going to have some nights where they catch opposing teams off guard and kill them with the 3-ball.
Well, okay. Let me give you another little perspective here. Everything you guys said is true as far as it looks like a team that's gutted. Okay, It really does. they had to shed the payrolls in a way that leaves them flexibility for the future. I mean, look, they're not, they still have a fairly young core, and they're going to, basically, as Ross said, this year will be Joe Mazzulla's opportunity to show how creative it is. And the expectations are as low as they can be. But I really still feel like Boston will end up in the postseason one way or another. I mean, through the play-in. I mean, I don't expect them to finish in the, probably not in the top 6. And Queta is really a guy that's going to have a great opportunity to shine. He's their only 7-footer. He has played well in the FIBA tournament. Okay. Their bigs are all gone, Cornette's gone, Horford's gone, Porzingis is gone. Luka Garza's going to get a huge opportunity this year. I mean, he was player of the year in college, not long ago, and has played okay in limited minutes, But look, I think I could see Queta being one of the top 10 most improved players. He's not going to win most improved player. But I think at the end of the season, when you look at a guy who averaged 5 and 4 last year, I made the bold prediction a couple of weeks ago when we were doing that he could be a double-double guy. Mm-hmm. Again, Boston's going to struggle this season, But I really hope that Queta, because if Queta can show himself to be a serviceable big, when Tatum does come back and whatever happens with other players, he could turn out to be a real building block for them because he's really not that old. And he has shown some ability, when he had limited minutes. But as we all said, this is not your father's Boston Celtics.
Yeah. Well, Kristaps Porzingis was asked during the FIBA tournament in the last week or so about Neemias Queta and said, hey, he was a guy that worked his tail off in practice, and Coach Mazzulla was really hard on him. So, of course, the coach is hard on you. They see something in you. So he's going to get a chance to really show that this year, and it seems like he's a player that Joe really loves and respects. So hopefully that's able to pay off this next season after a year of development within the Celtics organization.
Couple of things going for the Celtics, I think. Number one, we talk about where they're going to get their points, how they're going to score, how they're going to shoot it. They've been a really, really good defensive team, not just under Mazzulla. Prior to that, under Brad Stevens, I mean, top 5, top 2 defensive team in the league for years now. So that can continue. The other thing is too, we talk about how they lost so much, how they had such a good core. Well, last season, 93 games, including the playoffs, they only had their top 6 players, basically their starters and Horford, together for 22 of the 93 games. So it's not as if they don't know how to adjust to somebody being out of the lineup. So there is potential there for these guys to be able to recover, to adjust. And in a watered down the Eastern Conference, why can't they make the playoffs? I just don't think they're going to do it.
Yep, and adjustments will be made. So we'll keep an eye on those moving forward. All right, moving forward here, we've got the Denver Nuggets. Last year, the Nuggets finished 50-32 on the season. Good for 4th out west. They have the luxury of employing the best player in the world, in Nikola Jokic. And last year, it was clear they lacked the shooting depth needed to truly compete for a title, despite having the Joker on their side. So they sure seem to address that problem in the offseason in the shooting department, didn't they, World B?
Yeah, I think picking up Cam Johnson is going to be the difference maker on this team returning to the NBA Finals for the first time since 23 when they won it. This is my pick, my early pick to win it all here. They have to improve defensively. When they won the title in 23, they were middle of the pack defensively in efficiency. The season after that in 24, they were top 10. And last season, they fall into the bottom 10. And you're just not going to be able to do that in the Western Conference if you can't get stops. I do think they have the best starting lineup in the NBA, and they live off their lineup. That's just how it is. Even with Michael Porter Jr. going and Cam Johnson coming in, I think that only help. If nothing else, it's just going to make them better. It's not going to make them worse, I don't think. Health is an issue for that team, obviously, because they're so starter heavy. If somebody goes down, who's going to pick up the slack? I don't know. But for right now, I think they have as good a shot as any team to dethrone the Thunder.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, and I'll have more, but I want to hear from Bruce first on what he thinks of the Denver Nuggets next season.
I mean, look, it begins and ends with Nikola Jokic. I mean, the guy's a metronome. He has a rhythm to his game that's incredibly steady and is not subject to any disruption by opposing defenses. We have not seen it. He's a cheat code for Coach David Adelman, and he practically guarantees that the Nuggets offense will be one of the most efficient in the league because of the high percentage shots he creates for himself and his teammates. And here's an interesting stat. If they can improve their three-point shooting just a little bit, they can be dominant. I saw a great stat on NBA.com. Denver was 28-27 when they were outscored from beyond the arc last year. But when they were not outscored from beyond the arc, they were 22-5. Okay. Wow. So that's a major difference. Enter Cam Johnson, comes over in the Porter trade. He made nearly 3 threes per game last season in Brooklyn. And with Joker finding him open, I mean, I think he's going to be looking at some increased numbers there. And one of my colleagues, I believe his name is Ross Geiger, in his bold predictions segment a couple of weeks ago, said he thinks he'll be an all-star this season. So we'll see if that works out. And, you know, there was some drama in the offseason. Jonas Valenciunas has finally sort of agreed to be a part of the team instead of playing in Greece. He's an enormous upgrade as Joker's backup, and his rugged rebounding and screen setting bring a lot to that second unit. He's been a really productive player in 13 seasons, playing limited minutes, averaging 13 and 9 in 25 minutes per game. So if he can come close to those numbers in Denver, this could be the key to Denver knocking off the Thunder in the West, I believe.
Yeah, and Valanciunas is probably the best backup that's ever played behind the Joker. No disrespect to DeAndre Jordan, but he's been pretty old since he's been in Denver. So I think Valanciunas offers a little bit more at this stage in his career. And I'm going to just go out on a limb and say I think the Denver Nuggets had the best offseason out of any team in the NBA as far as improving their roster. I mean, quite frankly, I don't think there was another team that can compete with trading away a guy like Michael Porter Jr. that not only has a big contract, but ongoing health concerns. That's one less guy they have to worry about health-wise moving forward as far as their famous ones there in Denver. And then in comes one of the best shooters in the entire league in Cam Johnson. As Bruce said, I think he could be an all-star this year. Wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making it there. And then they bring in Tim Hardaway for good measure. And to top it all off, they bring back and have a reunion with Bruce Brown, who already has some familiarity playing with this group and winning a championship with this team. So I think he can only, work wonders with a guy like Christian Brown and helping him continue to develop in Denver as well.
You know, you mentioned Christian Brown. He had a breakout season last year. He more than doubled his scoring average to 15 while shooting almost 65% on twos and nearly 40% on threes. I mean, he could average between 18 and 20 points this season. He's already played 45 playoff games in 3 seasons. So this guy is an experienced young player. He gets a lot less credit than Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Aaron Gordon, other names we haven't even mentioned yet. But he is truly a high-end glue guy. And speaking of glue guys, you mentioned Bruce Brown. BB was a huge factor for the 23 squad before getting paid by the Pacers and playing for the Raptors and Pelicans as well. But he's kind of back where he belongs in Denver. And I think David Adelman and every guy on that roster is glad that he's back.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And that'll be a wrap on the Boston Celtics and Denver Nuggets. And as World B pointed out off camera here, these are 2 of the last 3 NBA champions that we've had. Now, on our next 48 minutes to a day, we'll examine the Brooklyn Nets and the Golden State Warriors. We hope you'll join us as we'll continue to keep you up to date, but we'll go shorter than 48 as we hit every team. Take care, everyone.